Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's video is about math function. We are going to discuss 18 math functions in this video. I have uploaded the videos on sum if, average, average if, average ifs, count, count A, decount A. So these are also the math function which I have already discussed in detail in the videos, and the link to these videos in the I button and in the description box also. You can check them out. So let's start with this video. We are going to discuss 18 function other than those functions. So the very first function which we are going to discuss over here is min and max. So we are having a table which is having some product and their sale amount over here. So let's find out that what is the minimum amount of sale which is done in this case. So for that, we are going to use the min formula. So min formula says number 1, number 2, number 3, means it needs a range of numbers from which it can give you the least or the lowest number. So we can give the number by hard coding also, we can give the number by cell referencing also, by placing commas like this also. This happens when your numbers are not in the linear way or they are dispersed in the sheet everywhere. So in that case you can give this kind of referencing. But if your number is in the tabular form, you can just give the cell range, and pressing enter will give you the answer that 250 is the minimum sale amount over here. So let's find out what is the maximum. So for that, max is used, and in this case also you need to give number 1 comma number 2 comma number 3, and in that case also you can give by hard coding like 45 comma 23, 36 comma 23, and it will give you 45. And you can give the range as well, and by giving the different cell reference also. So we have given the cell reference of D5 to D14, and pressing enter will give us the 2600 as the result, that this is the maximum sale amount. So proceeding to product, here we are having the same table, but here we are having one more row column having the quantity. So let's enter the quantity which is being sold. So let's assume we are putting some random numbers over here that this much quantity is being sold. So now what we have to find the total, means sale is 1200 and quantity is 5. So what must be the total? This into this. So you can get the number. But we are having a formula as well in which you can give the numbers. So the main usage of this formula is that you can give n numbers of entries over here. Then if you want the multiplication of 3 numbers, you can give that as well. So here I am giving like this and copying it to all over by dragging. We got the result. So let's assume we want the total of all these sales, means the sale into quantity, and whatever we got we have to sum it up. So we have to do the sum. We got this number. So there's a formula called sum product. Using that formula we can get the total of all the products by just putting that formula. So let's start. What does it says? That return the sum of the product of corresponding range or array. So what it says ki you have to give 2 arrays. So we are having the sale over here. This is our first array, and we have to multiply each entry of this array with the corresponding entry of another array called quantity, and after multiplication it has to sum all the things. So pressing enter will give you the same result as you got after doing it in 2 process. So this is called sum product function. Let's jump to the round function. Round function will help you to round a number up to a number of digits. Means if your entry, your data is in some decimal form and you want it to be in a specific format in which you want this much number of decimals only. Let's assume this is having 2 number of decimals and you want that the modified data shouldn't have any decimal. So what you have to do? Round, and this is the number. comma, decimal. Num digits is number after decimals. So you have to give 0, pressing enter will give you the result. And dragging it till down will round all the numbers. Okay, so let's assume we want the decimals but up to 1 digit only. So in that case, you have to select this number, comma, and press 1. What it will give? It will give you 1 digit of decimals. So this is called round. Next thing is round down. So what round down does? It rounded to the nearest down number. Means let's assume we are having this number and we are selecting round down. We are taking this number, comma, num digits. Let's assume we want 0. So it is 1200. Means toward the lesser range. Means 1200.57 lies between 1200 and 1201. So round down does it to the lesser range. So in this way, you can drag it to all the fields and you can see that 1247.23 is 1247. 2654.23, 2654. So same way, round up is there, which rounds the number to the higher range. Means like 1200.57 lies between 1200 and 1201. So it will round up to 1201. So this is the number, and pressing 0 will round up it to 1201. So we can drag it down and we got the answers exactly to the higher range of every number. So in this way you can round up your data to the desired way. Means some data need a specification that it is rounded up to the nearest down, to the nearest up. So in this case you can use, and if you want the customized round, how much digit of decimals you want. If you don't want any decimal, you can put 0. If you want 1, you can put 1, 2, 3. You can use like that. So moving on to the next function, which are ceiling and floor. Ceiling function does is that it rounds up to the nearest multiple of significance. Let's assume we want this number is called price should be in multiple of 5. So for that, we are going to use ceiling and the number, comma, if we are going to use 5, then it will give us the answer which is multiple by 5. Let's assume 45. So if we are going to change it to 6, let's check it out. We are getting 48. So next multiple of 6 is 48, which is near to this price. So in this way we can drag it to till the end, and we can see 57 is multiple is rounded to 60, which is multiple of 6, then 32 to 36, 67 to 72, 84 to 90, which are all multiple of 6. Coming back to the floor, it will give you the nearest multiple of significance but in the downward. Means if your number is this, and for just checking we take 6 as the number of significance, 42. So 42 is the number which is multiple by 6 and it is nearest down to 43.12. So dragging it till the down will give us the result like that. Next, moving on to the function called power. So power function is used for raising a number to a given exponent. Means if you want to raise 4 to the power 2, then you can use power function. So let's say we want 4 to the power 2 and we got 16. What we mean by 4 to the power 2 means 4 is multiplied by 4 2 times. So we got 16. Let's assume we want 4 to the power 3. So in that case, we are going to say 3 and it will give us 64. Means 4 is multiplied 3 times to itself. 4 into 4 into 4 will give you 64. So by using power function, you can multiply and you can get the squares and cubes, etc. Let's moving on to square root function. Gives you what square root function does. It gives you the square root of a number. So it's very simple. You just have to give the number and it will give you the square root. And dragging it till the down, we got the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for getting power means if you want to square, if you want to get the square of some number, you can use power function. If you want to get the cube of some number, you can use the power function. And for square root, you can use the square root function, sqrt. Next, moving on to the mod function. What mod function does, it gives you the remainder after a number is divided by a divisor. So when we divide a number by a divisor, whatever is left after all the multiplication which is not divisible, we get as a remainder. So mod is used to find that number, and it is basically used in finding a even odd number like that situation. So 4, 2, what we got? 0 remainder we got. Let's assume 4 is divided by 3, we will get remainder of 1. Okay, so in this way we can drag it down and see what is happening. Since when 9 is divided by 3, it will give you 0 remainder, so it is having 0. Rest 16, 25 is giving 1 as remainder, 36 is giving you 0 as remainder. So in this case you can say, so in this way you can use the mod function. Next, coming to the ABS function, which you can use for getting the absolute number. So in some cases, if your number is in minus form, you can use the ABS function to get a positive number of that value. So using ABS will give you the positive number, and you can drag it down till the end and you will find the positive numbers of a negative number. Next, moving on to the random number function. So in random number, we are going to see 3 kinds of random numbers: rand array, rand between. So first see the rand function. What it says, it returns a random number greater than or equal to 0 and less than 1. So basically it is between 0 and 1. So here you got 0.84897, and if you drag it down you will get multiple numbers of random numbers between 0 and 1. So we have seen how to generate the numbers between 0 and 1. Let's assume we want the numbers to be between 1 to 100. So what we have to do, we have to select the random function into 100, and pressing enter will give us the number, and we can drag it down till the desired point and you will get numbers between 1 to 100. What it does, it just multiplies the random numbers with 100 and it can give you between the 1 to 100. Let's assume we want integer number only, we don't want any decimal numbers. So we are going to use the int function, and we have to use the random number function. Using rand function, then giving a parenthesis 10 minus 1 plus 1, closing the parenthesis, closing it again, plus 1. So this function will return an integer number, a random integer number. So dragging it till the end will give us a list of random numbers, integer number. So in this way we can generate random numbers as per our need. So the next function we are going to see is rand between. This is also a way in which you can generate random numbers, random integer number between the specified range. Instead of using the int function which I have told over here, you can use the rand between. So bottom is 1, comma, top is 100, and pressing enter will give you an integer number between 1 to 100, and dragging it till the end will give you some integer numbers between 1 to 100. You can change the top as 1000 also. So this will return the numbers between 1000. So dragging it till the Dragging it till the end will give you some random numbers between 1 to 1000. Now coming to the next function of array, which is rand array. So what it needs, you have to specify row, column, min, max, integer, etc. and this will generate you a random array. So what we are going to do over here, we want 3 rows, comma 3 column. So let's see first how it works. It will give you some numbers and a matrix of 3 by 3. We got a range of array, but it is somewhat in decimal, which we may not prefer. So we can see the other options as well. So here we are getting an option of rows. How many rows we want? We want 3 rows. Column, we want 3 columns. Comma, what is should be the minimum value? Let's assume minimum value should be 10. What should be the maximum value? Let's assume maximum value should be 100. Comma, Excel is asking that what form of data you want. False will assume it you want decimal, true will assume you want integer. So we want integer. Pressing 1 will give you the, pressing 0 will give you the decimal values, and pressing 1 at the last will give you the integer value. So let's create one more array. This time we want 3 rows but 2 columns. Minimum value should be 50, maximum value should be 90, and pressing 1 for integer. True, for true we have to press 1, for false we have to press 0, and we got an integer array of 3 rows and 2 columns. So you can generate the random numbers and random arrays as well. Let's move to the next function, which is called subtotal function. So this is also a very useful function and a very powerful function. So let's assume we are having some products and their sale value. The subtotal function, pressing subtotal will give you a range of formulas which you can use over here. You can see a lot of formulas are available. So let's assume we want the number. So for number we have to press 1, and then we have to give the reference of the numbers, means of what values you want the average. So we want the average of these values. Pressing enter will give us the average of the sale amount. Let's assume we want the count. So for count press 2, comma, number of range. It will give you 5. So this is very helpful function through which you can, next week if you want the maximum of this, it will give you the max as well. Then pressing, let's assume you want product 106, comma, reference. If you want these numbers product, it will give you. So in this way you can use the sum total function for almost. So sum total is very useful, and you can use this function for a varied option. So next, moving on to the round function, m round. So let's talk about m round function, which rounds to a desired multiple. Let's assume you want the number to be rounded to a certain multiple of certain numbers. So in that case you can use the m round function. Let's assume this is the number and you want it to be multiple of 2. So pressing enter will give you 1200. Let's assume you want it 1500. So pressing, so multiple 2. Let's assume 1500 is multiple of 2. So let's drag it to here as well. Here you can see it is multiple of 2. So the main logic between m round is that the end result will be multiple of the number which you have given as the multiple. So this was all about math function. We have seen a lot of functions over here. You can use them to make your calculations more easy, more precise, and more accurate. So hope you find this video helpful. If so, do subscribe to the channel and follow the channel on Instagram as well. And thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.